It's Ricky Rich with Black Primacy with a quick question. Have you downloaded the Black Primacy app yet? If you haven't, don't worry about it. I just wanted to remind you that it is the number one way to find black owned businesses near you. Whether you're looking for food, fashion, or services, we've got you covered on this app. So download it now and start supporting black owned businesses in your area today. All right? Link in the description.
In these uncertain financial times, there is something you can do to lay off proof your income. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to lay off proof your income. What do I mean, lay off proof your income? I mean, make your income layoff proof, recession proof, depression proof. 3 things you can do. And under those 3 things, I got a lot of subpoints, so we're probably going to end up with 15 or 16 things. Okay, so now you know. The first thing you got to do, I'm going to give you all 3 of them first, and then we're going to talk about them. The first thing you have to do is you have to make more money in more ways. Make more money in more ways. See, right now, even if you have a job, whether you know it or not, if you're an employee, you have a business. You may not think of it as a business, but you have a business. But when you are an employee, you have a business and you have one client, and that client is your employer. But if you don't think of yourself as, okay, I am a business. And what you do in your business as an employee is you deliver a result to someone who's willing to pay you for that result. So if you can zoom out for a minute from your job as an accountant or as a bookkeeper or as a painter or as a landscaper, if you can zoom out for a minute and say, what are the skills that I have that give me the ability to maintain this contract with this one client called my employer? And then take an inventory of those skills. And then once you take an inventory of those skills, you figure out how you can utilize those very same skills to get another client. I'm telling you, it'll change the game for you. Like, don't waste your skill sets. Use them for something. Are y'all tracking? Is what I'm saying making sense? And so you have a business. That's an overarching thought. So here's the first thing I'm going to say. Let's say right now the government layoffs are not just going to cause income problems for the people who are laid off. The trickle-down effect of hundreds of thousands of people not getting paid for weeks is going to slap the economy across the face, the so-called economy across the face. And what's going to happen is it's going to negatively impact what people buy, which is going to negatively impact what businesses sell, which is going to negatively impact what businesses ship, and there's going to be a trickle-down effect. So what can you do? Like, you can start with something really simple. You ready? Find stuff that you used to use and sell it. All of us have stuff in our house, in our garage, in our basement that we used to use, but we don't have any use for it anymore. But I'm going to tell you something about stuff you used to use. One man's trash is another man's treasure. There are people who would love to pay you for that thing you'd throw away. So instead of throwing it away, put it on Facebook Marketplace. Put it on eBay. Put it on Craigslist. Take that thing that you have, and by the way, I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to give you some ideas of some things that you have that are laying around that you don't use anymore that you could sell. Right? Right? You could sell, like you could find stuff you used to use. You could find old phones. You could find old, like, computers you don't use anymore. You could find golf clubs. I know, I have like 5 sets, right? Golf clubs. Like, you don't want, and some of y'all might judge me, but this is real. When you have a set of golf clubs and you use them for years, you develop a relationship with those clubs. You can't just get rid of them. They're like family. In fact, so when I used to fly commercial, people were like, "You're gonna pay all that money to ship golf pay extra money to take your golf clubs?" I said, "These golf clubs are family. Don't be confused about it." Okay, so golf clubs, tools. Furniture. That old desk chair that's old to you be new to somebody else. 6, appliances. There's so, like, stuff that you don't use anymore. You don't even use it, but you still have it. Like, find stuff you used to use and just sell it. You can make an extra $500 this week. Somebody that I know was driving down the road on his way to work. Somebody threw away an electric bike. It didn't have a charge. They just threw it away. It was out for the trash. He goes up and knocks on the door. Are y'all okay if I take that? Sure, take it. He goes on eBay, buys a battery charger for like $12 or Amazon or something, buys a battery charger for $12. The bike works fine. He sold it for $700. Which brings me to my next point. Find stuff other people used to use and sell it. You don't have to find it in their trash. You might buy some. Do you know you can buy something on Facebook Marketplace for one price and sell it on Facebook Marketplace for a totally different price? And by the way, why am I talking to you about Facebook Marketplace? Because I know everybody doesn't want to start a business and go hire people and build a team and do all that other stuff. But this is just stuff average, ordinary, regular, everyday people can do. Do you know what I used to do when I first got married? You know what I couldn't find a job because it was hard times in Gary, Indiana back in the 80s. So you know what I used to do? I would buy old raggedy cars, and I knew how to work on cars. I could work on engines. I could change transmissions. I could do body work. There was nothing that could break in a car that I couldn't fix. And I would go buy raggedy cars, fix them up, sell them, make a couple $100. And I'd do a couple cars a month and make enough money to live. And I did that for years, just flipping cars. If I didn't have money to buy a car and somebody had a car sitting in their driveway and it looked like it had been sitting there a while, you know how grass grows up between the cracks in your driveway? And they got grass growing up between the cracks around this car. Oh, this car has not been driven. Go knock on the door. Do you want to sell that car? Yeah, I want to sell it, but it doesn't run. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you sell it to me? And what I'm going to do, yes, I used to do this. What I'll do, I live right around the corner. I'll happily give you my address, show you my driver's license. I'm going to take this car. I'm going to take it to my house. I'm going to fix it in my garage. And then I'm going to put it in the paper and I'm going to sell it. And then you keep the title. And the day I sell it, I'm going to come give you the money. And then you give me the title and everybody's happy. And I arbitraged cars because I didn't have enough money to buy them. And I'm telling you this because, like, Myron Golden wasn't always this guy who was making millions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. No, I had to learn how to do that. But I learned the skills flipping cars. So find stuff other people used to use and sell it. Now, here's another one. Freelance online using skills you use at your job. How do you freelance online? Well, what you do is you can go on to on the websites like Upwork.com. I'm going to use my other one because this one, that point. You go on sites like Upwork.com. And you can sign up on there as a contractor. You don't even have to wait till you get laid off to do this. You have a job doing accounting, go on Upwork. People will hire you to do accounting projects for them. You're a graphic designer, go on Upwork. You're an architect, go on Upwork. There are people who are looking for people to do what you do on this site called Upwork, and it's a freelance site. And you can go post jobs on there for people to do, and you can go find people to do jobs on Upwork. You can go on Fiverr.com, and you can do jobs. And there are people who make full-time livings on Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Go on Fiverr.com and you can do the same thing. And what Fiverr is that way because you do like this loss leader thing for $5. Like, I'll make you a thumbnail for a video for $5, like for people who want to do a YouTube channel. Let's say you're a graphic designer. Sell thumbnails for people on YouTube for $5. And then you can upsell them into a pack of thumbnails that you create and you charge them way more money. I've hired on Upwork and Fiverr, I've hired software designers to create apps for me on so I can put them on Google and on iTunes and the App Store with Apple. I've hired artists to create illustrations for my books that I write. I've found people on Upwork. So whatever you do, if you do some kind of white collar, like professional technical job, you can put yourself on Upwork and you can get paid part-time to do projects on the side. Do you know AI? as a person who knows how to use AI, put yourself on Upwork, put yourself on Fiverr. Okay, cool. So now this is one of my favorites, and I'm telling you, it's kind of mind blowing that you can do this. That we live in a day and age where you can film yourself doing your hobbies and start a YouTube channel. Absolutely mind blowing. Film yourself doing your hobbies and start a YouTube channel. A friend of mine, Paul Jameson, he and I play golf together. He was a landscaper, okay? And he loves golf. And so he and I play golf together. And he's heard me rant, man, do what you do and turn the camera on, turn the camera on. He's like, I got tired of hearing you saying it, man. So back in January, I just decided, Myron uploads a video every Monday. I'm going to upload a video every Monday. And he hired somebody part-time to film him playing golf. He said, I'm going to play golf anyway. He hired somebody to film him playing golf. He started a YouTube golf channel called Paul Jameson Golf. And he films himself playing golf against LPGA professionals. He's got one on there where he's playing golf against me. And he won by one stroke, too. It's just like, when we were in the Dominican Republic at my favorite golf course. Okay, anyway, that's a different conversation for another day. But anyway, so Paul Jameson Golf, and he started in January of this year. He put up one video, and I don't even remember what it was. He put up one video. It got like, I don't know, over 100,000 views. And his channel, that one channel was like, that one video took his channel to a point, he's already monetized. Like, and I don't know how much money he makes a month, but I know one month he made $3,000. Right. And he only has like a couple thousand subscribers, like maybe 2,000 subscribers. It's so like, film yourself doing your hobbies. You like to cook? Turn a camera on. It blows my mind. I go home and my wife watches these people cook stuff that we don't even eat on YouTube. It blows my mind. But all I'm saying is, if you film yourself doing your hobbies, you can start a YouTube channel and make thousands of dollars a month. What kind of world is this that we live in? There are TV shows where people build cars, and there are TV shows where people build motorcycles, and there are TV shows where people go to pawn shops and buy stuff. Like, take the thing that you do, document it with a camera, and turn it into a YouTube channel. It's mind-blowing. Okay, that one doesn't work for you? How about this? Find someone you like to talk to about important things and start a podcast. And you and that other person interview people. Like, let's stop making this hard. It's kind of like somebody asked me this morning. Like, well, my son asked me a long time ago. Like, Dad, what does somebody have to do to go from the Myron you used to be to the Myron you are now? I said, the first thing they got to do, because this is the first thing that came to my mind, right? The first thing they got to do is they got to wait until July, get a job in the heat of the summer in Lowell, Indiana, pulling sorghum for a whole day. And then they need to work in a body shop where they're sanding fiberglass bodies and the fiberglass shards are getting in their cheek. And when they shave, they get these rashes on their face. And then they need to work in construction where you put on rubber roofs and you have to carry for days, you have to shovel rocks into a bucket, carry it up on top of a roof and walk it across the roof 200 yards, dump it out and then spread them out and then come down and get another bucket, and you do that for 2 days. They have to go do something hard enough, long enough to understand there's a difference between what's hard and what seems hard. And the reason most people think the stuff I'm talking about is too hard is because they've had such a cushy life, they've never done anything hard. I hated being poor because everything that I did to make money when I was poor was hard. And that wasn't just kind of hard. It was like grind your face off hard. And that was exhausting. And I hated it. And so when I found out that I could make a website, back in 2005, by the way, when there was no ClickFunnels, Go High Level, Kajabi, there wasn't any of that stuff. WordPress, there was none of that stuff. I had to learn how to use Microsoft Front Page. And it took me a month to figure out how to build this website. 2 weeks of that month was figuring out, okay, how do I make it so people can pay me with a credit card? And you had to learn HTML. You had to learn you have to have an index.html file. And everybody who's teaching this stuff talked about like you're supposed to already know what it is. Right? You had to know what a root directory was and a subdirectory, and you had to know all this technical gobbledygook to build a website that didn't even really look that good, and stuff never really lined up like it was supposed to. Y'all, I don't know how many of y'all remember those days, but I put my first website not knowing what I was doing, And I watched this tutorial thing called Professor Teaches Microsoft Front Page, and I'd play the video for a little while, I'd pause it, and then I'd go do what he said, and I'd come back, play the video for a while, and then I'd go do that, and I'd pause it, and I just kept doing that until I had a website. And then I launched my first website, and I had a goal. I said, man, if I can just make $400 my first month, I know I'm gonna be okay on this internet thing. If I make $700, I literally said this out loud to myself. If I can make $700 my first month, I am going to be the king of Internet Marketing Mountain. But I didn't make 400, and I didn't make 700. My first month, June of 2005, my website brought in $6,700. And I said, what? How many of y'all know that was worth the month that it took to learn how to build the website? But the reason I was able to build the website and take a month to learn how to use Microsoft Front Page is because I had already done so many hard things in my life. Sitting there and pecking away at some keys on a computer and pausing a video every now and then didn't feel hard to me. I had something hard to compare it to. But I'm gonna tell you now, I thought it was a fluke. I literally thought it was, there's no way. And here's why I thought it was a fluke. There's this guy named Jeff, and Jeff had a conference call. And so he invited me to speak on his conference call. Well, when I spoke on Jeff's conference call, that day, I sold $5,700 worth of stuff in 24 hours, like literally from the time we ended that conference call that night to the next night, $5,700 of that $6,700 came in because of Jeff's conference call. Well, I knew I wasn't going to be on Jeff's conference call every week, so I thought it was a fluke. But, right, when you find something that works, what do you do with it? Rinse and repeat. I said, but I can start my own conference call. I literally started my conference call the next week. And every Monday night at 9 p.m. for over a decade, I did the Hour to Empower. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. The Hour to Empower on a conference line, and a conference bridge that I paid for. I didn't use one of those free conference bridges because I didn't want any quirky, weird, like wonky stuff happening. I paid for and I stored all my conference calls, and I would take some of them, and I would use the recordings to put them in courses that I created. And so my second month, because I started a conference call, it wasn't $6,700, but it was $5,100. My third month, it was $6,300. And I'm like, this thing is real. And I thought to myself, I've had this computer in front of me all this time, and there's all this money in this computer, and I've not been accessing it. How much money have I left on the table? It's kind of how I felt when I started making YouTube videos consistently. Like, I started making YouTube videos consistently in April of 2022. And I was on YouTube for 15 years before I pushed the button, y'all. You do not have to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. But eventually you have to wake up, right? Okay, so find somebody you like to talk to and start a podcast. Now, remember I told you about my friend Paul? Well, he's not just a golfer. He's a landscaper, which means he did landscaping. And I know I'm using Paul as an illustration, but he's somebody I know that has a real story. He's just a regular guy, had a landscaping business, and he was hustling and grinding probably to make about $60,000 or $70,000 a year as a landscaper. So he took the thing that he did, and he started a podcast to teach landscapers how to grow their landscaping business. Well, how's that going to make you money? Well, he started selling courses and coaching to landscapers, but companies that sell landscaping equipment started paying him to sponsor this, to mention their products on his podcast because he had the ear of their ideal client. One company paid him $100,000 to broadcast his podcast from their trade show booth for 3 days. Why? Because he took something he already had the skills to do, and he started a podcast. He just started talking about it in front of a camera. And all of a sudden, he's got a multiple six-figure business. In fact, and I asked him, we were playing golf one day. I said, so do you still do any landscaping? No, not really. He said, I said, how's your landscaping coaching business going? He said, I don't really want to focus on that anymore. That's not really my passion. My passion is golf. I want to grow this golf channel. I mean, is this, what an amazing age. Yes, I get it. Some of you got laid off from your jobs. Some of you watching me right now got laid off from your jobs. But I'm telling you, and if you work for the government, you got laid off from your job, you can do any of these things. Or you could, Could do all of them, but you don't need to do all of them. That's the beauty of it. Okay. When it comes to making more money more ways, this is the last one, and then we're going to get to the next point. This is all under point number 1. Okay. Figure out which of your skills would help the most people and create some intellectual property. What's intellectual property? Intellectual property is, the simplest intellectual property you could create is a book. Y'all see this book right here? It's called From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, How Anyone Can Get Rich Starting from Anywhere. It is at 147 pages. I wrote this book 19 years ago. How long ago? How long? 19 years ago. This book makes me on average over $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year for work I did 19 years ago. Now, what's mind-blowing, I have seen other people. I don't sell this book on Amazon. I sell it on my own website. It's only $20, right? But I've seen people selling this book on Amazon for as much as $1,100. This book on Amazon, I don't sell it on Amazon. It has 1,200 reviews and 4.5 stars on Amazon, and I don't even sell it on. I sell the ebook on Amazon, but I don't sell the physical book on Amazon at all. I was doing my event last week. There was a guy sitting on the front row who bought that book on Amazon for $187. How crazy is that? So you want to create some intellectual property. That could be in the form of a book. That could be in the form of a course. You just take stuff you've learned, stuff you know better than most people know, and then you create some intellectual property around it. Why intellectual property? Because intellectual property is an asset. And you don't have to pay any property tax on intellectual property. You only have to pay sales tax when you sell it. See, if you own real estate, like if you own a house, you got to pay property tax. You got to pay tax on the land. You have to pay rent on the land, even if you own the house free and clear. You have to pay rent to the government on the land. But you own intellectual property? No, you don't have to pay any rent on land. Okay, so figure out which of your skills would help the most people and create some intellectual property. It could be a book that you sell for $20. It could be a course that you sell for $200 to $2,000. It could be a mastermind that you sell for $20,000. It could be a VIP day that you sell for $200,000. And I know all of that sounds so wild. And by the way, but I don't know how to write a book. Okay, so how long do you want that to be your story? I didn't know how to write a book either. So you know what I did? I went and learned. I paid a bunch of people who knew how to write books. And guess what they did? They taught me how to write books. You say, I don't have any money to pay anybody how to write a book. Good. Go look it up on YouTube. We live in a day where excuses don't work anymore, people. Y'all tracking? Okay. This book, I wrote this book in 3 days. 3 days. It took me 3 days of my life to produce something that has made me millions and millions of dollars. That's insane to me. What a day to live. I just threw my book on the floor. Okay, so make more money more ways. That's the first one. We have 2 more, okay? I told you there's subpoints under the main points. Okay, manage your money. Now, here's what I like the concept of managing money. I don't like the concept of budgeting. I hate the word budget. I twitch a little bit when I hear that word budget, right? But I like the idea of managing money because now I'm in control of my money. I don't have a piece of paper in control of me and my money. So what does manage your money mean? Well, I don't know how you do it. But in this book, I have a chapter. It's chapter 13, and it's called You Can If Your Cans Say You Can. Now, this is how, when I was broke, this is one of the things that helped me get rich. This is the trash man to the cash man money management system. Y'all ready? Say I'm ready. Okay, here we go. So, what you do when you get paid, you take your money and you put it in 6 different cans. And you don't put your money in the can, you put your money in the bank. Literally, have 6 different checking accounts. 6 different bank accounts. And you put the ledger for each bank account in one of these cans. Okay? So, you have 6 different cans. I made that can a little bit too big to put 6 of them on here. That's 2. This is 3. Yeah, make them bigger, Myron. Yeah, go ahead and run out of space. Okay, 4. Okay, we got it. 5. 6. Okay, so the first can is my I can tithe can. Now, you don't have to have an I can tithe can. But here's what I've discovered. I'm 64 years of age. I cannot live better on 100% of my money than I can on 90%. I can live way better on 90% of my money than I can on 100%. I can tithe can, okay? So 10%. I'm going to give 10% to God. Some people give 10% to charity. They give it to that's between you and God and the charity. I'm not here to tell you that. So I can tithe can. That's the first can. Ideally, you put 10% of your money in I can tithe can. Ideally, you put 10% of your money in your I can finish free. And by free, I mean financially free. Can. My I can finish free can. I put 10% in there. Then I put 50% of my money, of my income, in my I can pay my bills can. And before you jump to conclusions, say, but it takes more than 50%. I know I'm going to talk about that. It takes more than 50% of my money to pay my bills. I got it. Calm down. Pump the brakes. Okay. So, then you put 10% in your I can save for what I want. Can. And you put 10% in your I can educate myself can. Now, the two cans that'll make you the richest are the two on the outside, I believe. Okay? The I can tithe can, and my second favorite, the I can have fun can. And you take the money in the I can have fun can, 10%, you make sure you spend every dime in this can every month. That can will inspire you to make more money than your I can finish free can. Like you take the thing that you love to do, or you take the thing that your family loves to do, and you take that I can have fun can, and you literally spend all the money in it every month. You can't. Other ones, you don't have to spend all the money in them every month. But that one you have to spend all the money. This changed my life in ways you can't imagine. Now you say, but Myron, I can't live. It takes 70% of my money. Okay, great. So you pay 10%, 70%. So you do 70% of your money to pay your bills. Okay. So 70 and 10 is 80. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 5% in this can, 5% in this can, 5% in this can, 5% in this can until my income goes up. And my income will go up. Why? Because if I'm managing my money, money will stop being repelled by me. God is not in the habit of continuing to bless people with things they perpetually waste. I cannot emphasize enough how much this will change your life if you will do it. Okay? So hopefully that's helpful. And y'all understand everybody understand what I just did right there about if you can't pay your bills with half of your money. Take the amount, whatever percentage that is that you can pay your bills with. But if all you can do after you tithe and pay your bills is put $1 in each one, like $1, put that on the wrong side. Okay, in each one of these cans, put $1 in each one of these cans. But do not let a month go by where you don't put money in those cans. I'm telling you, it'll change everything for you. Okay, so you manage money better. That was point number 2. Was that helpful? Okay, point number 3. Then after you make more money, more ways, you manage your money, now you multiply your money. Okay, why am I saying multiply your money? Because rich people know, poor people don't know this. Saving money is a bad idea. How's that for opening you up? What do you mean saving money is a bad idea? Now, if you have internal resistance, here's why you have internal resistance to what I just said. Because you think the only alternative to saving money is spending money. But I'm not talking about spend all your money. I'm talking about the money that you used to save. Stop saving it and start investing it. Start putting it in things that become worth more over time. If you just save money, because of taxes and inflation, the money that you are saving becomes worth less over time. Why would you save something that is deteriorating? You have to invest it in something that can stay ahead of taxes and inflation. And I'm telling you, if you will do those three things, make more money more ways, and I covered a bunch of them, and you'll manage your money with the I can system, I can if my can say I can, and you will multiply your money by investing. And you might invest in real estate. You might invest in the stock market. You might invest in commodities. I don't know what you're going to invest in, but invest in something. Put your money in something where it's going to grow, not just sit there and let the bank use it and make money off of it, and while you make nothing, and then they charge you interest when they loan you your money on your credit card. It's insane. So, if you will do these things, you can literally layoff-proof your income and protect your family, your finances, and your future in these very, very uncertain times. I hope this video helps you and blesses you in ways you can't imagine, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.
All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out the other content that we have on this channel. But before you go, I wanted to remind you again not to forget to check out the Black Primacy app. It is the best way to connect with Black-owned businesses near you. They need your support. We need your support. Link in the description.